inside entanglements, okay? We're going to look at dealing with heel hooks and then also some other leg locks as well. Alright, so we're going to start with cross ashi. So cross ashi is one of the most fundamental of all the ashigami variations. It's an inside positioning based ashigami where my training partner's legs are both inside. Okay? Now an inside positioning based ashigami variation, like the cross ashi, okay? The big advantage of it is that his feet are safe from, not all counterattacks, but most counterattacks. It's pretty hard for me to counter him. And the second thing is that his chest is facing my secondary leg. Okay, so he can come forward and he can grab control of it, and now he has control of both my legs. Alright? So that's the big advantage of it. Now the big disadvantage of it is that because his feet are on the inside, it's more difficult for him to control my knee within his knee line. Okay? As long as he only has one leg. If he has both legs, that's not really the case anymore. Now he can control my knee within his knee line because I can't really move too much. But as long as he only has control of my primary leg, that's this leg here. That's the leg inside of his leg entanglement. Okay? He can't really keep my knee within his knee line super well. So the first thing we're going to want to do when we're in this position is we're going to think about the relationship between our knee and his hips and our knee and his knee line. These are the two main defensive concepts I want you to focus on when you're inside an entanglement. Okay? Really any entanglement, but we're going to look specifically at the cross ashi right now. Alright? So the first thing is the direction my knee is pointing in relation to his hips. If my knee is pointing into his hips, stay on that. If my knee is pointing into his hips like so, now Joey has a very easy ability to expose my heel. I can't hide the heel, so to speak, right? What I want is obviously therefore the opposite. I want to maintain a relationship between the back of my knee and his hips. Okay? So you see right now the back of my knee is facing into his hips. Now, there's lots of things you can do here where you can extend your leg and you can point the toes, you can curl around the hip, right? These are all good. But the main thing that we want to focus on is having a relationship between our leg and his hips, where it's the back of our knee facing into his hips, rather than if it's in front of my knee, it doesn't matter what else I'm doing, he's going to heel up me, length of it, okay? Now the second thing to focus on, is the relationship between my knee and his knee line. This is, the line connecting his knees is his knee line, okay? I want to get my knee outside of his knee line, right? So I mentioned inside positioning based variations of ashigami, for instance, such as the cross ashi here, are not as well suited for controlling my knee within his knee line as long as he only has one leg. If he has both legs, okay, it's not sure whatsoever. Now he can keep my knee within his knee line. Alright? But if he only has one leg, it's going to be fairly difficult for him to keep my knee within his knee line. Okay? So then the first thing we gotta do is make sure he doesn't get this leg. So we're keeping this leg far away. I'm hiding this heel. I take this hand, I'm gonna post here. It's pretty easy for me to free my knee from his knee line. Now, let's expect if people are good, they're not just gonna sit here. So what are they probably going to do? Well, he wants to adjust the relationship between his hips and my knee, such that his hips are facing the front of my knee rather than the back. So if Joey spins and I don't, he can expose my heel. Okay? And take a look at, so do it nice and slow. Take a look what happens when he spins. His hips, and stop right here, his hips now are facing towards the front of my knee rather than the back. I can't hide it, not really. When he goes to catch the heel, it's a very, very easy thing for him to do. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to make sure that when Joey goes to do that, I spin with him and I maintain the relationship between the back of my knee and his hips. So through 360 degrees of rotation, I ought to be able to, that way, I ought to be able to make sure that I can continually point the back of my knee into his hips. Okay? And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. A lot of different methodologies, but just that basic concept is what you always have to adhere to. Now, as you're doing that, what I want you to also be doing is posting on this ankle. So as we're rotating, we're looking to get a good grip on the ankle and also the foot here. See this grip here? So this hand, I like to grip the ankle. This hand, I'll grip the foot. And as you're rotating, you can get this foot here, and you can push and free your knee from this knee line. Okay? So again, it's all about these two concepts, the relationship between my knee and his hips, and my knee and his knee line. Okay, these are the 2 points of control that we're looking to defeat. Okay, and so as he rotates to catch my heel, first we grip the ankle, then the foot, and we're trying to get our foot on his hamstring. Once I have my hands in place like so, I have one C grip on the foot, one grip on the ankle, my foot on his hamstring. There's no way he's holding me within his knee line. what that means is, it's honestly going to be a lot harder to just pull our knee out in that fashion. The disadvantage for Joey is that it's because his chest is facing away from my secondary leg, is it's going to be harder for him to get a hold of my secondary leg. So we don't have to worry about that as much here. What we have to worry about here is more so if he squeezes his legs tight, hard for me to pull my leg out in the same way. Okay, so it's a little stickier than the cross-ashi does. Alright? What Joey's going to want to do is, again, he wants to adjust the relationship between his hips and my knee so that he climbs on top. Yep, and now he's able to expose just like that. Okay? A really good way he can do that is with this foot underneath here. Okay? And now he extends his leg out. Yeah, that's really bad. Okay? So what we want to make sure is, first thing first, we're always hiding the heel, that's a given. But assuming we're already doing that, first thing after that is going to be making sure this sort of a thing doesn't happen. We want to keep this foot off of my hip. Okay? The next thing I like to do is take this hand. I can ensure this foot does not go on my hip or my torso by reaching underneath and grabbing the knee like so. Okay? Now there's no way we can do that because there's a wedge between his ankle and my hip. The wedge is my neck. Now I'm hiding his heel. Now as he goes, we're gonna go nice and slow. As he goes to rotate to catch the heel, as he goes to rotate to catch the heel, we're gonna spin with him and hide the heel. Okay? Now take a look at what happened to my left leg as we did that. I'm in a position now to heist and come up. Now what I want to do is I want to come up to the head with one arm and then underhook with the other arm. And we catch like so. Now I'm going to windshield wiper one leg, and then the second leg out, we can pass. Okay, so for instance, again, inside the outside ashi, like so, we start off obviously with the roll to make sure that our knee is safe from his advantageous hip angle, or when he gains his hip angle, that we're caught, right? That's no good. As long as we inhibit that, we can start to think about our alternative, or I should say, that's keeping ourselves safe in the position. The next step is going to be actually getting out of the position, okay? So when we're here, when he goes to spin to get it, we keep ourselves safe. And now as we come here, we plant this foot on the mat, we heist with this leg, okay? So we put ourselves here. I'm not really in a position to heist, right? The legs, it's kind of awkward. It could be possible, but it's going to be even better when this comes off the mat, when this comes off the mat, and we hide during the roll. Now we gain a really good opportunity to heist, because obviously for him to rotate, to attack me, his hips are going to have to come off the mat. And I find myself in this sort of situation here, where again now, with the foot on the mat, especially if you can get a hold of the hips like a tiger, right? You can squash him, and now you can come forward towards the head and shoulders, pin him down. This part might take you some time occasionally, sometimes you'll have to really hold him down and you have to really lock your legs tightly. Sometimes it's going to take some time to find like a position to fit that foot in, but ultimately usually you can find a spot and you can pull the leg out. Okay, so this is basically, we talked about just fundamental concepts of keeping yourself safe from, it's mainly dealing with heel hooks, but like these ideas will also help with other leg locks as well. The main thing we looked at was like the entanglement itself, right? So for part 2 of this video, we're going to go more in depth on potential counters that we can employ after we kept ourselves safe. You can come over to my YouTube channel, which is Robert Degle BJJ. That's Robert Degle BJJ. And if you're interested, I have a full instructional on leg lock defense where we go much more in depth. This is just like the surface level stuff. It's very important to know, but it goes way deeper than this. If you're interested in that, you can check it out on my website, robertdegleBJJonline.com. Same spelling, just with online afterwards. Thanks, guys.